So welcome back to We Talk Boxing, and during this video I will be discussing the trilogy fight between Canelo Alvarez versus Triple G, which took place yesterday, or for some early hours in the morning in the UK. Now before we begin, do you know what I mean? If you haven't already done so, can you please subscribe and like for more boxing related content? Now, firstly, do you know what I mean? I'd like to congratulate, you know what I mean, obviously Canelo Alvarez for winning this trilogy fight between himself and obviously Triple G. Do you know what I mean? And you know what I mean, the most important thing about this is that there wasn't any sort of controversy in regards to the scoring or any doubt in people's minds that, you know what I mean, that Canelo won. It was a straightforward victory in my eyes, to be fair. Now, you know what I mean. This was a much needed win for Canelo. Do you know what I mean? And he showed that in the earlier rounds. Do you know what I mean? By pressing his man from early. Do you know what I mean? And he started very early as well. And you know what I mean. During my pre-fight analysis video as well. Do you know what I mean? I kind of said that this fight would be won by the fighter. You know what I mean? Who wins majority of the earlier rounds. Do you know what I mean? And this was Canelo. Do you know what I mean? He went chasing nice and early in the fight. Do you know what I mean? He went to his man, obviously Triple G. He looked the busier fighter between the two. Do you know what I mean? And the more aggressive guy. You know what I mean? Who wanted to make things happen. And in the earlier rounds, you know what I mean? What I was quite shocked really that Triple G wasn't really engaging. Do you know what I mean? He didn't engage in any of it really. He was dormant. Do you know what I mean? Whilst Canelo was standing, he was throwing his hands, he was letting his hands go. He probably wasn't connecting as much. Nothing, you know what I mean, of significance was landed mainly, you know what I mean, in the first few rounds. But as I said, the presser, the aggressor was all Canelo. Do you know what I mean? And this dominance pretty much continued up until I think it was the sixth round. Do you know what I mean? And that's when, you know what I mean, for some reason, do you know what I mean, Triple G started to fight, you know what I mean, and he stood his ground and started to trade with Canelo. Do you know what I mean? And he was putting Canelo under a little bit of pressure and catching him with some good shots. Do you know what I mean? And I feel as if, you know what I mean, in this sixth round as well, with I think it was one or two exchanges towards the end of the round, they actually hurt, do you know what I mean, or stunned Canelo briefly. Do you know what I mean? And honestly, I was sat there, I was watching, I was thinking, you know what, it took Triple G till 6 rounds to actually get into this fight. And now we're going to see, you know what I mean, this fight kind of blossom now, do you know what I mean, from 6 rounds onwards. But it wasn't the case, because in round 7 and 8, do you know what I mean, it was all Canelo again. Do you know what I mean? And as I said, it wasn't nothing majorly significant that was landing or anything like that. But he was just the aggressor, he was the more active fighter. Do you know what I mean? So again, he kind of just cleared up. Do you know what I mean? Winning these rounds really. He was just dominance, and you know what I mean. And it was him really who was looking more likely to get a stoppage or KO. However, do you know what I mean? I think you know what I mean. The fight kind of shifted slightly in the ninth round onwards really, because this is when, you know what I mean, Triple G was applying more pressure and standing and trading a lot more with Canelo, which I personally thought, you know what I mean, that, you know what I mean, for a split minute, you know what I mean, especially in the ninth round, I honestly thought that, it's just Canelo. You know what I mean? He's taking another round off sort of thing. You know what I mean? He could handle this pressure being applied, you know what I mean, by Triple G. But, you know what I mean, it just wasn't the case. And Canelo kind of looked stunned. Do you know what I mean? And what was quite significant, depending on how you want to look at it, that there was an accidental clash of heads towards the end of the ninth round. Do you know what I mean? And Canelo didn't like it. Do you know what I mean? And as I says, the pressure being applied, you know what I mean, by Triple G, do you know what I mean? As well as him trading and standing with, obviously Canelo, you know what I mean, was probably, you know what I mean, the advice which was given to him by his corner. Do you know what I mean? As he went back after that eighth round, they probably said to him, they was like, look, you're way behind here. You know what I mean? You need a stoppage. You need to stand there and trade. Do you know what I mean? Try and knock Canelo out. Do you know what I mean? And as I said, do you know what I mean? Like, this is, you know what I mean? It was good, because obviously it's what we wanted to see. But honestly, for me, from the ninth round to the 12th round, is what I thought we were going to see, you know what I mean, from round one. And it just, like I said, it wasn't the case. It was you know what I mean, a little bit too late sort of thing, because he let so many rounds, you know what I mean, go by. It was unbelievable. And do you know what I mean? What was interesting was that at this point, do you know what I mean, when Triple G started to work, you know what I mean, it was a little bit too late, because before he knew it, you know what I mean, those 3 rounds had gone and the fight was over. Do you know what I mean? But I guarantee him and his team, do you know what I mean, are going to look at this as a missed opportunity, because I guarantee if they would have started earlier, you know what I mean, in the fight, you know what I mean, started to fight and stuff, and won maybe 1 or 2 more extra rounds, this fight potentially would have ended up a draw again. Do you know what I mean? Just the way that the judges kind of saw it and stuff. But because, you know what I mean, Canelo, you know what I mean, he ate a lot of the earlier rounds and stuff. It was just hard, you know what I mean, for the judges to give it a draw, even though, I mean, 2 of the scorecards were very close. Do you know what I mean? If I remember rightly, I think it was like 160, 112 on one judge, and then was it 115 to 113 on 2 judges as well. So as I said, that 1 or 2 extra rounds earlier in the fight, it would have been a majority draw. Do you know what I mean? And then potentially we would have seen a fourth fight between these guys. You know what I mean? But as I said, I made a pre-fight video, and honestly, you know what I mean, I just felt in my gut that this, you know what I mean, was gonna be you know what I mean, the fight to remember and potentially be talked about for generations to come. Do you know what I mean? And it's weird because in the end, it was pretty much a standard fight between 2 highly ranked boxers. You know what I mean? And it didn't really live up to the hype, I don't think. You know what I mean? But that's my opinion. Obviously, you guys can let me know, do you know what I mean, in the comments below. Do you know what I mean? But you could see from the get going, you know what I mean, that Canelo and his team, you know what I mean, 100% wanted to, you know what I mean, to get the stoppage or KO victory over Triple G. Do you know what I mean? They truly believe they could have done it. You know what I mean? But Triple G, he's a warrior. He's a beast. He's very durable. Probably the most durable fighter in boxing right now. Do you know what I mean? You hit him to the head, he just doesn't go down. Do you know what I mean? I guarantee if you get a baseball bat or whatever and hit him in the head, he probably still wouldn't go down. Do you know what I mean? So the only way they were pretty much going to get the stoppage or the KO victory was if they worked the body. And they were talking about it in the pre-fight, but didn't really do that. Canelo didn't really work the body as much. Yeah, he threw a couple of shots and that, but nothing troubling, which was interesting. You know what I mean? Obviously, that's my thoughts. Obviously, you guys can let me know in the comments below and stuff as well. But yeah, like it's a weird one, this fight. Do you know what I mean? Obviously going forward and that, I feel as if, you know what I mean, Team Canelo. Do you know what I mean? They need to probably improve, you know what I mean, Canelo's end game. You know what I mean, by improving his stamina and his ability. Do you know what I mean, to just work a little bit harder in a lot of rounds, because, you know what I mean, from the fights that I've always seen, you know what I mean, from Canelo, he's always faded quite late in fights. I don't know why. It's like he's just ran out of stamina and that. You know what I mean? And this allows, you know what I mean, fighters, you know what I mean, to come on strong against him. You know what I mean, from eight rounds onwards. Do you know what I mean? So if you're pretty much in there with Canelo and it's been 8 rounds, you know what I mean, and he hasn't got you out, there's a high chance that, you know what I mean, you can, you know what I mean, take Canelo down into the deep trenches of the fight and make it tough and rough for him, really. But I feel next, you know what I mean, where Canelo has to go next, for me personally, has to kind of be that 175 revenge, you know what I mean, against Bivol. He has to go and try and, you know what I mean, challenge Bivol, you know what I mean, regardless if Bivol win, loses or draws in his up and coming fight against Ramirez. Do you know what I mean? Canelo has to go back there and, you know what I mean, to try and beat the guy that beat you, you know what I mean? Because he's that sort of fighter, he can do it. Do you know what I mean? And then what would be even better for Canelo is if Bivol does lose, because then, you know what I mean, he'd be maybe, you know what I mean, he'd probably have lower confidence or whatever, which obviously Canelo's coming off a win. He'll have more confidence, so he might be, you know what I mean, a bit easy. It might be a bit easier than what it was, you know what I mean, the first time, because obviously he did struggle the first time, but you never know. He needs something to kind of take into that. But if you can't get the Bivol fight, do you know what I mean? Then there's other opportunities, you know what I mean, against other good fighters such as David Benavidez. Do you know what I mean? Or maybe dropping down to fight Munguia. You know what I mean? At 160, that'd be a good fight. Do you know what I mean? Anyway, I'm not going to try and long the video out any much longer, but obviously looking at Triple G, You know what I mean? As I said, he is 4 years of age. Do you know what I mean? And him taking on, you know what I mean? For me, the pound for pound, you know what I mean? Great of Canelo. Do you know what I mean? It just goes to show how much left he's still got in the game, and he's very a durable fighter. And I honestly, you know what I mean, believe that you know what I mean, he can still continue to box, you know what I mean, for a good handful of fights really, because I can't see, you know, if Canelo can't get you out, I can't really see any of the other guys getting him out really. But when he starts showing signs of deterioration, then that's when you will probably see Triple G hang up the gloves. But as he said, you know what I mean, in the post fight, you know what I mean, he's still champion at 160. You know what I mean, he's got two titles down there. You know what I mean, you know what I mean, but he could also stay at 168 because he held his own. Do you know what I mean, against the undisputed champion, which means that he could potentially fight a couple of the guys at 168. But for me, you know what I mean, there's some good fights down there at 160. Do you know what I mean? Which I'd like, you know what I mean, Triple G to go up against, maybe a Charlo. Do you know what I mean? Try and entice the Billy Joe Saunders out of some sort of retirement. Do you know what I mean? Or maybe a Eubank after Eubank's done whatever he's doing. You know what I mean, with Ben. So there's a couple of good fights there, really. But anyway, you guys let me know. You know what I mean, in the comments below. You know what I mean, in regards to this trilogy saga. Do you know what I mean? You know what I mean? How did you guys see it? Do you know what I mean? Like, was it the right scores? You know what I mean? That the judges seen it. You know what I mean? Did you have Canelo winning the fight quite comfortably? Do you know what I mean? Or did you kind of feel as if Triple G came back late? You know what I mean? And probably nicked it, or maybe nicked a draw. Do you know what I mean? And who would you like both of these guys to fight next? Let me know in the comments below. Do you know what I mean? And as always, you know what I mean? Please subscribe, like, and comment for more boxing related content. Bless.